Happy cozy rainy Sunday, everyone. If you're my friends on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, it's a lovely rainy Sunday afternoon now. I just turned noon, stroke of noon. um, the purpose of this video is actually to introduce concepts of apana, or grounding, closing in type energy, because the gate has parted. I don't know if anyone's felt that, but there has been a shift in the stay-at-home orders. There's definitely a lightening up that's taking place. So where the vaults were closed, now it's like there's like a little peeking hole, and I feel like everyone's kind of got their ears perked up and their eyes a little more open, like ready and waiting. And it's really important, especially important right now, to introduce this concept of apana, or grounding, into your daily life. Primarily because we're still healing from the sputtering energy of this pandemic. It's been a couple months now, really, when you think about it, since the trickling in of the news to the explosion of it happening, and now it's kind of settling back in a little bit, so that we're going to be returning to some sense of normalcy. That to say, there's been a lot of sputtering and activity and commotion, and it's time to bring it in and down and nestle down our nervous systems. It's time to slow things down, heal the body, heal the mind, heal the spirit from being, which is already such an American thing. Friends from across the world, I'm sure that there's a similarity in Western Europe and in other areas of the world. There's activity everywhere. We're humans in the 2020. It's a time of productivity, is essentially what I'm trying to say. And pulling it in. The days are longer. I work 12-hour shifts. I get home at 8 o'clock at night, and it's still light out now. And that's only going to increase. The warmth is only going to increase. Like, we're going into solar times. I don't know if you notice this in yourself, but I notice in me, when the solar times are starting to happen, I get increasingly angry, but it's a good thing because it kind of pushes me to the next tier. It helps me to kind of move past things. Obviously, we have certain levels of anger. There are times where it can be debilitating, but using it as a productive force. Productive in the sense of getting to where it is that you are intended to, where you're aiming for. Returning this to the seed of this share is pulling energy inward. And I will be introducing a few different poses. I'll be sharing 3 symmetrical poses from Yin Yoga, which will help to center and ground your body. Important thing, focusing on the exhalation. This is something that I emphasize over and over and over again in my classes. But especially if you feel that tension in your day, your shoulders creeping up, your jaw's gritty, release it through a deep exhalation out of the mouth, as audible as you want it to be. I can't think. Ujjayi breath is really very effective with this as well. It just is like a force of energy being expelled as you pull the belly in with the exhale. Keeping all of this in mind, it is the liver season according to traditional Chinese medicine. So a lot of hip openers are really beneficial to balancing the liver meridian. The liver meridian being about anger in deficit and compassion in balance. So finding that evenness. The symbol of the liver meridian, or the element, is wood. And when you think of a tree in a storm, it is pliant, it flows, it blows with it. It can even be on its side, like ecstatically moving, when it's in a state of imbalance, but it's still there. It's still strong, but it's moving in a way that is pliant and flexible. And that's how you want your spirit to be. That's how you want your body to be in limber. And be in a state of being limber. All of that to say to returning. Thank you for listening to this sharing, because there's a whole lot of information always going on. There's a lot to share and a lot that can be used in a way of benefit. Returning to the exhalation, I will share with you 3 poses that can bring you into balance. Returning, centered grounding, keeping external forces at bay, allowing them to be external, allowing them to be at arm's length, having this sort of protective shell around yourself. Pose number 1. Soles of the feet come together, butterfly pose. The thing that will be of most benefit to you with nervous system settling is chin to chest, leading with the heart towards the feet, folding. You can support under the legs with whatever props. If you have blankets, if you have pillows, you can you can support the deficit of space. If you have a space between your face and your feet, you can support by bringing a blanket, a block, some sort of a thing in between. Pose number 1. Pose number 2. Forward fold, or caterpillar pose as it's known in yin yoga. There's a reason. It's returning to seed. You're coming into yourself, journeying inward. Just going to come to my side here so you can see. If you have tighter hamstrings, just a slight bend in the knees. Reach with the heart towards the feet again. Chin down, forehead pops. Focusing on the exhalation. If you don't have sturdy supports and it's really a struggle for your low back or your hips to allow your body to drape with just hanging out in space, you can bend into your knees a little bit more and use them as a forehead pillow. I also like to bring my hands underneath of my feet or my calves, lengthen them out, and it helps to stretch out your shoulders. Just a little tip there. And then the last pose that I have to offer is, it's funny, I had one in mind, but it slipped my mind. But it's funny because in its place, in this one, and this is dragonfly pose. So your legs are nice and wide. You're still feeling your seat on the ground. And then with all of these poses, I remember what it was. It was child's pose, but I don't really feel like I need to demo that. Knees wide in child's, because that'll access the liver meridian a little more heavily, and it'll help to open and shift your hips. But you can sweep your arms up and high for the butterfly, for caterpillar, and for this dragonfly, and start to lean forward with the heart. Chin drapes down. Hands come to yourself, to the ground in front of you, down for grounding, up for receiving. Focusing on the exhalation, really just pulling it in. Apana is down and out, rest and digest. It's the opposite of prana, which is like outward energy and excitability and just movement, stabilizing, grounding, normalizing energy, apana. And of course, I would like to share with you, as you find whatever variation is calling to you on this beautiful day, of self-exploration, internal. I would like to share with you my handpan. And prior to this, just closing the eyes and drawing the breath deeply into the body, filling all the concaves. Exhaling as it will. Seat settles, shoulders relax, jaw relaxes. Settling, grounding, pulling in. Go placidly amidst the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. Tadichi, Tibetan for thank you.